Hey guys, welcome back to Bad Luck Garage. It's been a long week at work, but I'm finally going to take this turbo kit off so I can get it sold. I know a lot of you guys have been sending me messages on both the Facebook page, emails, everything. I know there are quite a few of you who are wanting the kit. I will say this, I'm trying to sell it locally. The reason I'm trying to sell it locally is because it's heavy, guys. I mean, there's a lot of parts to it. If I have to package this up and ship it, it's probably going to be a couple $100, you know, in shipping. And I also don't want anything to get damaged, because when somebody does get it, you know, I don't want to deal with, you know, the turbo beat the crap out of the intercooler because UPS tossed it around or whatever. So I would prefer to sell it to someone who can come here to Knoxville and pick it up, but, you know, we'll just see what happens. My original intention for this video, I was just going to kind of go over the parts, and I was going to lay them all out on the floor after I got them off, you know, take a little picture, and that was going to be it. But I kind of got to thinking, you know, throughout the week I've been working a lot of hours. I hadn't had time to take anything apart. So I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know, it might be good for me to show how it goes together, or rather how it comes apart, for two reasons. You know, one, so whoever buys it can see how it goes together, because obviously how it goes together is going to be the opposite of how I'm taking it apart. And the other reason is for you guys out there who are trying to replicate this turbo kit, you can kind of see how everything fits together and what it takes to put one of these together. So before I start taking this apart, I'd also like to say a lot of you have been asking me a lot of questions about the specifics of the kit, and I think it's mainly people who are newer to the channel. And you know, some of you may not realize it, but I actually, you know, the whole Turbo C10 LS playlist, if you click on that playlist, you know, we documented every little part. I mean, even the boring stuff. We documented every part of this turbo build in those videos. So, you know, anything you need to know about how we built this turbo kit is in those videos, guys. So, you know, don't get mad at me if you guys shoot me a question and I'm like, instead of answering the question and having to type out a page, I just throw you a link to the video that the answer's in or something like that. Because, I mean, honestly, that's why I made the videos, guys, so I wouldn't have to type like 3-page write-ups on how I did this. Anyway, just want you to know, you know, I'm not trying to be sarcastic or anything, but I spend all the time to make the videos to help people out. So if the information's in the videos, I don't want to spend another 20 minutes typing, guys. With all that out of the way, let's get out here and take a look. Okay, so before I take everything apart, I thought it might be a good idea to come out here and go ahead and show you guys how everything fits up, what all I'm going to include with the kit. So we got our VS Racing 7875 turbo, which is a 78mm turbo, obviously. We got a Tile 38mm wastegate. Now with that wastegate, I've got 4 springs, but I do have 2 of these wastegates, and I may be using the other one in the future. So what I'm going to do is just I'm probably just going to include like the 7-pound spring with the kit. That way you can use a boost controller if you want to go any higher than that, but it's not a level that, you know, should be hard to start off with. You can see the dump tube for the turbo or for the wastegate, it actually goes straight down, and you know, I had to drill a little hole in the inner fender there, so when the wastegate does open, it blows off straight underneath the truck. I'm going to include the turbo blanket here, which if you guys have followed the videos, you know I actually pinched it back here and it's starting to come apart a little bit, still perfectly usable. I'm not going to take any of the wrap off anything. I'll leave all that on, but you can see the stock manifolds that we've turned into turbo headers back here, come up, V-band flange right here. The crossover pipe goes underneath the front here, that's why you can't really see it, and comes over to here where there's another V-band clamp right next to the power steering line. It actually goes under the power steering lines and over to the other header here. Now your O2 sensors, there's one right here and there's one right here. Obviously those will not be included because they're going to stay with the engine or with the truck, depending on what I do. Wideband's not going to be included with it. What I am going to include is, you know, this little vent here. I'm going to include all the intercooler piping, and also if you look down in here, we have a 50 millimeter blow-off valve. Now this is actually, while the wastegate is a genuine tile unit, this blow-off valve is a fake tile, but you know, it works fine, guys, so I'm including it with the kit as well. That intercooler piping, you know, obviously it comes off the turbo, kicks forward. You have to drill a 3.5 inch hole here and a 3.5 inch hole here. So then the intercooler piping just comes in. All these couplers goes to the intercooler, also included. Over to this side, goes back through. You got this piece of intercooler piping that goes over. There's another coupler right there. Comes up, goes into the intake here. I'm also going to leave this little temp sensor, your IAT sensor. I'm going to be including that with the kit as well. Up here on the engine, if I can get this loose, I have a 2-bar map sensor in the back. I will also include that with the kit. You will also get this down pipe, which connects with a V-band. Goes into a single chamber knockoff race Flowmaster and comes out to this custom exhaust tip that John made. If you have a step side that you're putting this in, that's going to work out great for you. You know, it's a custom one-off thing that John made for us. If you don't have a step side, you know, you may want to modify the exhaust a little bit. Also going to include, of course, the turbo feed. This feed line goes all the way across and goes down around the back of the engine. I don't know if you can see it, but there's the feed block down there by the oil filter. I'm going to include that as well. So basically, oh yeah, and of course the drain line will also be included. You will have to drill and tap your oil pan. You know, that's part of the process on any kit you buy. But anyway, so basically you are getting everything you need with this kit to install it in a Swapped C10, except fuel injectors and a fuel system. The reason the fuel injectors are not coming with it is because, well, I'm going to rebuild this engine. Even without the turbo with the big cam, it needed larger fuel injectors, so I'm going to keep my decaps. If you want to decap your fuel injectors, there are other videos on this channel showing you how to do that. Really easy process. Hey guys, that's it. That's the whole kit. $1,500 gets you all that. I would prefer local pickup because, you know, especially because of the exhaust, it's going to be a nightmare to try to package this. And you know, I don't want to risk some of the heavier parts like the turbocharger itself getting you know, like maybe making contact with the intercooler or something during shipping and bending it up or something like that. So I would prefer to sell this to someone who can pick it up, or you know, I could possibly even meet someone as long as it's not too far from home. But anyway, that's everything. I'm going to get started taking this all apart now. You've seen all the parts. I think the best place to start disassembly would probably be under the truck with the exhaust pipe. And that is the largest piece of the system, guys. You know, it starts with this custom tip John made, and it goes all the way up to there. Now, the exhaust is actually being held onto the frame. It is hard mounted to the frame, as you can see. We got the hanger there. It's welded to the pipe here. There's another hanger up here closer to the front that, you know, I can't get the camera in there to show you because the truck's not currently on jack stands, but it's on up here. And because it's hard mounted at the back, you know, you got your piece of flex right here, and right in front of that flex is a V-band. So there's the exhaust pipe. Very large piece. You know, it looks kind of janky in spots, guys. If you wanted to paint it, sand it down and paint it, and probably look better, but you know, this was more about function than form. I've also been told repeatedly that this single chamber Flowmaster is probably not a good idea on a turbo setup. I didn't have any issues related to that, but you know, you could always cut that out, have a more straight through muffler or cherry bomb or something welded in there. John did design this tip here to contour to the step on a step side, but you could use this exhaust probably on a fleet side too. I mean, obviously the tip's going to be kind of back in there a little bit, but it would work on a fleet side as well. Okay, so now that that's off, the next thing we're going to take off is our downpipe here. Real easy. You know, we just got this single band clamp. It's actually the same size band clamp that was down there that the exhaust was attached to. So I'm going to take my wideband sensor out real fast, and then I'll take the downpipe off and set that over there. When taking this downpipe out, you're also going to want to note it's kind of funny, guys, because like when I'm trying to put it in, I don't have any trouble getting it in, but when I'm trying to take it back out, I can't get the angle right. But you actually, you know, you have to like come up a little bit and then twist it around and then pull up, you know, because of the bends in the bottom of the downpipe there to get it between the frame and the engine block. And like I said, I've never had trouble taking or putting it in, but for some reason I always have trouble taking it out. Weird. Of course, I said this would go with the turbo kit too. This is the new breather that I just bought from ZZP. Paid way too much for it in my opinion, but that's going with the kit too. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull my O2 sensors out. These are the stock sensors. There's one here and there's one over here on this side. Now, if you're one of those guys that follows the, you know, other 50% that say, no, you can't run your factory O2s in front of the turbo, then, you know, you may want to just get some block off plugs. But, you know, if you're like the rest of us and enjoy having balanced fuel trims, then there you go, guys. You just got to plug your O2 sensor, your factory O2 sensors in where I just showed you, and you're ready to rock. The O2 sensors out. I'm actually going to move up here to the turbo now. I'm going to disconnect my oil feed line, and then I'm going to come under here and I'm going to disconnect my drain line from the oil pan. Now, the reason I'm disconnecting my drain line from the oil pan right now is because it is a pain in the rear to get to the end of the drain line that's attached to the turbo once it's on the vehicle. So what I like to do is go ahead and clock it where I want it, tighten it down on the turbo, then feed it down as I put the turbo on, and then come down here and tighten it up down here. Now keep in mind, you will have to tap your oil pan and put a fitting in there. This fitting's not going to come with the kit. It's like a $10 part on eBay. Actually, I think I only paid about $6 for this one. Now that both the oil lines are taken loose, I've just got to disconnect this coupler here, and then we'll take our 4 bolts out of our turbocharger and pull it off. I've decided I'm going to go ahead and take a couple steps back and take some of the lines and stuff off before we take the turbo off. Also, I'm going to include this too. This was the boost controller for the STS kit, and you'll notice it just looks like a valve like you would see on an air compressor or something, but believe it or not, this is what STS, I don't know if they still do, but used to package with their kits. So we're going to go ahead and take all this off now just to get it out of my way so I can get the turbo out. In case you haven't followed this build and you actually found this video by accident or through a YouTube search or whatever, these nuts on the back side of these have given me crap every time I've taken this wastegate off. So if you're the one buying this kit, or if you're building something similar, I would highly suggest using some anti-seize on these. Somebody actually recommended it to me, but I was like, well, I don't plan on ever taking this off again. There it is, guys. That's actually a genuine tile wastegate. You know, if you want to run the serial numbers on it to prove it, there they are. I will be putting the 7-pound spring in here, so whoever buys it will have a 7-pound spring, and then they'll have that boost controller so they can turn the boost up from there. I figure that's a lot better than leaving a 12-pound spring in it and somebody throws it on their car and instantly blows something up because their tune's off. So there you go, guys. Tile wastegate. Left the dump tube on it here. Yeah. Now I've got room. I can get these 4 bolts out and pull the turbo off. Once again, in case you guys didn't follow this whole build series, this is the pipe we made, or John made rather. I just aggravated him while he was doing it. But this is the pipe that we made to go from the turbo to the intercooler piping. You'll notice it is very oddly shaped. The reason it's shaped like that is to clear the inner fender on this C10. Now here's the thing, guys, I do not know about the 81 through 87 C10s. I believe their fenders actually are a little higher. You may have to dent the fender to put this in there, but on the what this is, you know, on the 73 through 80 models, this should fit in there, give you just about an inch around the bottom there, so you don't have to worry about rattles. And on another note, I want to give yet another shout out to my awesome wife for getting me these Craftsman ratcheting wrenches in situations like this. Fantastic. Okay, I have one stubborn bolt on this turbo here that is fighting me, this bolt right here. I don't know if it galled when I put it on or what, but what I'm going to do, I sprayed some liquid wrench on it there. I'm going to let that soak. While that soaks, we are going to go ahead and, I guess I should start up here, remove this piping up here. So the piping's pretty easy. We just unplug our IET sensor here, which again I'm going to include. You notice right here, this vacuum line, it runs up through here and it is plugged in right here at this little nipple on the back of the intake. We're going to take that off. We'll pull it through. You'll notice there is a T in it right here. Okay, so this is the line that was plugged into the intake, and this line is for your boost gauge. And the other end is for your blow-off valve. We just need to take this clamp loose. We can leave all the other clamps attached. So I'm going to take the clamp loose from the throttle body. This 45 coupler that's in here, I'm not even going to bother taking that loose. We're just going to take this end loose from the intercooler piping, and should be able to pull that right out. Sometimes they'll get kind of bound up after they've been on for a while. They just get stuck to the rubber, whatnot. So what you do is just take the screw it all the way to the end so you don't mess the threads up, and you can just tap them like this and you can see that loosened right up. So just a little trick there. As you can see, there is our portion of the intercooler piping that actually goes inside the engine bay. There's the blow-off valve, the vacuum lines, the clamps, the IET sensor right there. Moving on to the intercooler, I'm not even going to bother taking these couplers or the pipe or the elbows. I'm not going to bother taking any of that off, guys, because I can pull that out without touching anything. But on your vehicle, you will see you're going to have to cut these braces right here and cut these braces if you have them. I don't know if you have these. I think these braces are just on the 73, 74s, but if you have them, you're going to have to cut them. I got a 3.5 inch metal hole saw, and that's what I use to cut these holes for the pipes to pass through, and that's also what I use to cut the hole down in the bottom of the inner fender for the dump tube to go down. So honestly, I don't like the way these rub. If I had it to do over, I would probably use a 4 inch to give more clearance here. As far as what's holding the intercooler up, what I did was I took a piece of flat aluminum stock here, I bolted it to the intercooler mounts, and I made a little L bracket here, drilled a hole in this grill support, which is for a 75 and up, I believe. And you know, that's how I made that. Again, there's a video on that, guys, where I mounted the intercooler that shows all that step by step. Also, I had to cut a little bit off the bottom of this bracket because it goes back in towards the radiator down at the very bottom. But you know, you can still get these 2 bolts right here in it. I mean, it's solid, guys, so don't worry about cutting that stuff. Underneath, you can see I just I made these little L brackets here. They're not really supporting much weight. The bolts up at the top are supporting most of the weight. Plus, the intercooler is actually resting on this little piece, this bar here. I'm not sure what it's called, but you know, I just got a couple self-tapping or sheet metal screws run up through these just for a little extra support. But you know, I'm gonna leave all these brackets and stuff on the intercooler for you, so if you're getting this, you know, you'll already have all those brackets. You'll basically just have to set it in here and drill your holes. And there's the intercooler. Like I said, you don't leave the couplers on. All right, so the intercooler's out. Next, we've got our 2-bar map sensor back there. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out and swap it out for a 1-bar. So there we are. We got our dreaded eBay 2-bar map sensor that everybody's so afraid of. But guys, it worked great for me. When I was running low boost, well, even when I was running high boost, I never changed it. I had these check valves. I had a check valve set up here on this side, and then this side for the PCV system, you know, I just had a tube venting down to the ground there. So, and then, you know, of course I had my breather here. So what I'm gonna do is, I've actually got several of these. So I'll just, if you want one of these one-way check valves so you can kind of recreate what I did here with the PCV system, and again, there's a whole video on what I did there. So if you want one of those check valves, I'll just let you have one of those with the system. I'm actually just going to leave that one on there for now, because and I'm not going to put the top back on, the top cover, because, you know, you can see all my nitrous lines and stuff here. I've still got to take the whole nitrous kit off this engine. Patience is a virtue, guys. I let that liquid wrench soak into that bolt for what, about 15 minutes while we were taking the other stuff off, maybe 20, 25 tops. I've not been out here that long, guys, and this thing just came right loose. So the turbo is out, and I just wanted to make a note, guys. You know, this whole turbo setup has less than 1,000 miles on it, okay? And this was actually the second turbo we had on it. The first one was a it was used. It was like a 12-year-old T66. It was a lot smaller than this one. This is a 78 millimeter. It's actually a VS Racing 78-75, which is like the popular thing to go with now. Should be good to make up the 700 horsepower or whatever, you know, people on Sloppy Mechanics are making with it. But anyway, this turbocharger unit itself probably has less than 300 miles on it, because since I put this on, I really haven't driven the truck much. It's got like no shaft play, spins freely. You know, it's a journal bearing turbo, so it's not going to spin forever, but you know, it's good to go, guys. The exhaust housing doesn't even have much rust or anything on it. Actually, it doesn't really have any rust on it. Just a little bit of surface rust right here around my oil feed, but other than that, there's no rust on the turbo. It's still in good shape. I'm gonna wipe it off, clean it up real good. Okay, guys, this is the drain line I was talking about. Now on this end, this is a Russell fitting, and you can see it does, like, the swivel point does not move, and ironically enough, it does not leak. But on this other end, this is the other eBay fitting, and you can see how the swivels just, you can just take it and move it all around, and that's where it's leaking from, guys. It's leaking from this swivel right here. So again, I highly recommend you you know, there's two ways you can go about it. There shouldn't be any pressure on this line. It's just drainage. So, you know, if you wanted to be sloppy about it, what you could do is put this in there and, you know, use this as the pan end and cake a bunch of silicone around here after you tighten everything up, and it'll probably be fine, guys. But I would recommend just going and getting another one of these Russell fittings. And, you know, there's nothing to it because the collar's already here. You can just unscrew this part, pop it off, put the Russell's fitting part in, and screw it down. It's not a big deal to replace. Like on this end, I didn't even take this collar off to use the Russell's collar because they still made up to the eBay fittings. So anyway, there's that. We are down to the nitty gritty. We're going to take our crossover pipe off. You can see the crossover pipe goes down and over to the other side. All you have to do to take the crossover pipe off is loosen up this clamp, and over here on the driver's side, loosen up this clamp, and you know, they're both V-band flanges, and then it just comes apart, and this whole pipe right here, and there is a piece of flex in it right there, but this whole pipe right here just pops right off. And sometimes these freeze up just like the ones on the intercooler piping. So we'll do our trick again. Just run the nut all the way up to the end so you don't mess up the threads on the clamp. And there it goes, it's loose. Here's the crossover pipe, you know, with the V-band connections on each end. Here's the thing, it is 8:30, well actually it's almost 9 o'clock. It is a work night, and just being completely honest, I've been working on this for probably 2 hours. Okay, so the only thing I have left to take off at this point is the exhaust manifolds, which you guys should be able to figure out how to take the exhaust manifolds out. You know, you just take your plug wires off, take your bolts out, pop it off, or you know, if you're installing this kit, it's the opposite. And then our feed line that goes to the feed block on the driver's side of the engine down there. Now I want to go ahead and get this video edited and put up so that you guys that have been asking about the kit, you know, you can go ahead and see this video, and maybe somebody wants to go ahead and buy it. But I need to go in here and get it edited, so I'm just going to wait, take these off after work tomorrow. I was going to go ahead and pull that block off tonight, but the problem is, before I pull that one off, I've got to have my old one to put back on so it don't just dump, you know, continuously dump oil. So I haven't been able to find that. My garage is a mess, so I'm gonna go in there and look for that. But you know, that's the deal, guys. Minus the exhaust manifolds that are still on the truck, and the you know, the oil feed line, and the oil I keep forgetting what it's called, but the bypass block off that the feed line comes out of. Other than those items, this is the entire kit right here. You've got your intercooler, your turbocharger, all your piping, which, I mean, there's not much piping, guys. I mean, you got those two pieces on the intercooler, and then this big long piece here, and then you've got, you know, your little, looks like a pipe grandpa smoked section there that goes from the turbocharger to this end of the intercooler. You've got the whole exhaust system here. There's the downpipe. Here's the exhaust system with the flex, and you know, it's all V-band connections, guys. No bolts and gaskets to worry about, all V-bands. You've got your crossover pipe, you've got your boost controller, you've got your genuine tile 38mm wastegate. You've got your turbo blanket that is chewed all to pieces right here that I've already told you about. You got your 2-bar map sensor, turbocharger. I mean, guys, that's it. You've got everything here that you need except for your fuel system. I always recommend decapped injectors if you're on a budget, and having them flowed properly. And you know, of course, you're going to need more fuel pump and everything, but other than your fuel system, everything's here, guys. Well, that's it, guys. I'm a hot, sweaty mess. I need to get in here and edit this video. That's the whole turbo kit, $1,500. Like I said, I would prefer local pickup because honestly, I don't know how I would ship it. I mean, that's going to be a nightmare to ship. We'll be putting a local ad up on Craigslist as well, but I'm going to wait a day or two because a lot of you guys have expressed interest in buying this, so I'm going to give my subscribers first dibs at it. Also want to say, I'm going to do my best. Now, Sunday is my birthday, so I'm going to be going down to my mom's house, which is out of town, so I'm not going to be able to do anything Sunday, but Saturday, I'm going to do my absolute best to start working on getting this engine pulled out of this truck so we can tear it down and see what happened. But as far as the Nova project goes, we got good news. We got all the weather stripping, got new front springs, got the disc brake, drum brake proportion valve. That all came in today, all at once, as a matter of fact, which was kind of weird. We were just waiting on the disc brake conversion kit. So hopefully in the next couple weeks, we will get started on the Nova. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Guys, if you're subscribed and you haven't clicked on the little bell to get notifications, then you're not going to be notified when I put a new video out. So you might want to click on that. But to those of you who have subscribed, those of you who've been around a long time, thanks for sticking with me, guys. I know a lot of you guys got bummed out about the truck. I got bummed out about the truck, but I want to move on to bigger and better things. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to go in here, get this video edited and uploaded for you guys. So get off the couch, get in the garage, and I'll see you next time here on Bad Luck Garage.